This is going to be brought to you from an urban Native American perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. So let's dive right on in. All right, so we're going to start off the episode with I got my little microphone here because I realized how absolutely full of shite the sound was on my former videos. So let's try and get this here so you guys can hear me well. All right, okay. Looks a little tacky, but whatever. We got it going. Well, maybe I can fix that a little bit better. All right, so we're going to start off the episode with Chance and Taylor. So Taylor, she's happy because Bobby has come back to the house. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. If you can't, just let me know in the chat. So we have Chance and Taylor. So Bobby is there and she's like, I'm not going to be leaving the house again. I'm not going to let him break us up or whatever. And then Chance decides to take her out to the back to have a private talk with her. So he's apologetic about his past behavior and so on and so forth. And then he says, well, I have to ask you something. Yeah, I'm going to need your blessing to get married. I was like, what? Her blessing? Why? First of all, why do you even think you deserve that? And weren't you just trying to put her, weren't you just like talking crap like a week ago saying you're going to put her in the garage? I mean, did we forget about that? Your whole little exile plan you had. These two girls are twins. Like, what's the matter with you? So her sister's reaction is like, we'll see. But she was like, I'll give it for now. And she should not have done that. I guess she was just trying to keep the peace, but she really doesn't respect him and she has the upper hand. So why would she even agree to just like giving him her blessing if she really doesn't mean it? I thought that was dumb. Okay, so next, who do we have? Oh Lord, we have Lacy. Oh God. Okay. So Lacy meets up with her sister. And her sister's kind of interesting, right? Because she's telling her sister that, he's being unappreciative and da 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 da. He doesn't want to do anything. And then as she's telling her sister about him, guess who walks in? Here comes Antoine. And he sits down, and Antoine is fresh from the tattoo chair. Okay? He has decided to get yet another facial tattoo with the state of Washington's abbreviation on his face. Now, you know what? Listen, some people. Listen, I'm not saying getting a tattoo is a crime. I have tattoo myself. It's not, I don't see it as a big deal. But when you're trying to get out of the system and trying to work your way back into society, is that the wisest decision? But you know what? We'll see later on once he visits his mom where some of these sort of attitudes come from. So, Lacy's frustrated, obviously, right? I mean, she's like, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm trying to help you, da 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 da. And you're going to go do that? Like, that's going to make it that much harder to get a job. And she's like, let me see that. And she tries to he's like, don't touch me. And then next thing you know, they get into it. And then the sister starts going in on him. And then next thing you know, he has both of them and they're in his ear at the same time. And I just feel like, you can't raise a man, all right? And what she is expecting from him, I think, is just really unrealistic. I think she wants the guy who has an edge, but is responsible. So, like I said before, that's the retired cartel member, right? Who worked in the upper ranks. That's not like the corner boy type. If you're going to get your criminals, your former criminals, you can still have ambitions in life. I just don't understand this whole situation with Antoine. He has nothing to offer her, but like putting her at risk for everything. Anytime she would have to worry about maybe him taking her car or, him bothering her about signing for, him to get his own car and put it in her name. I mean, there's just so many things she has to worry about with him. You never know if he's hanging out with the wrong people and she has him over at the house. She is putting herself at risk for everything that she has worked for in order to be with this guy. It does not make any sense. So he's feeling attacked, and everything that they're saying is, it's not that it's not right. Of course it's right, but that you're going into another role. That's his mom's role to tell him all that stuff. If he doesn't know those basic things at this point, then I mean, it's like trying to raise a man. You can't do it. He has um arrested development, and we see the same thing with Harry, right? They go in young and they come out, they're still young. You're not paying bills and being responsible in prison, you're just being told what to do, essentially, right? So that was a whole thing. So then later on, he goes to see his mom. So it's a warm reunion. His mom looks messed up like as usual. And she tells him that, basically, hey, I'm in stage 4, liver failure and I need a transplant. And we all know that, well, I'll just say this from coming from a healthcare background, I have never seen anyone who drinks like that who gets a transplant. I mean, they are very particular about the people that they give these organs to. For people who have long-term addiction to certain substances that will affect said transplant, they will not even bother. And he said it as well. She has to be sober for, was it like a year or something like that before, 6 months or something like that before they would even, get her on the list. So it's a very sad situation. Alcoholism, I mean, it's a very sad thing. So many loved ones, and growing up I saw that were suffering from that, and just it's a very, very difficult thing, and it just seems like her addiction may be just too strong. I don't know. I mean, maybe she can turn it around. Maybe it'll be that the wake up call that she needs. But now he's fearful because he knows his mom. So he's like, oh, I know she's not gonna stop drinking. There's no way. So I don't know what to do. So I mean, it's not that I don't have any sympathy for Antoine, but I just because a lot of it, you know, rarely do we get to see this much of an in-depth look into the parents like that. And we get to see, okay, this is generational, right? So, if that's who raised him, no wonder he's the way that he is, which means unfortunately, a lot of times people wind up going back to prison because they just can't, they can't quite hack it out here. Now, he doesn't seem to me like he's, ready to run out and commit a crime or anything like that. I don't get that from Antoine, but I just feel that his kind of, his lack of ambition, kind of the laziness and stuff like that, that can lead to other things that could, land him back in prison, or maybe hanging around people that he shouldn't be hanging around or something like that. I just do not understand for the life of me what Lacy is trying to get out of this relationship. I just don't. Okay, so who else do we have? We have, Branwyn and Chaz. Okay, so they go pick up her daughter, and they pick her up from the strip club, and she's all she's looking like she's still at work. It's like you can zip up the jacket just a little bit. You know what I mean? You're out on the streets and you're with your mom, and you're meeting your new stepdad. Like, have a little respect. I don't know, but anyway, listen, she's a dancer. Her mom was a dancer. I got no problem with that. Listen, girl, get your coin however you got to get it. All right. Not everybody's going to be a school teacher. Not everybody's going to be a doctor, or, work down at the post office. So you do what you got to do as long as it's legal. Who cares about what other people have to say about that? So, but Branwyn is like concerned that she will take the same path in that, being in that nightlife sort of job that she did, and wind up on drugs. Now, the daughter seemed to be okay. She didn't seem to be an addict or anything. I mean, listen, you never know, but I mean, she just seemed to be fine, right? And she wants her to continue to be fine. So she wants her daughter to go with her. But here's the thing. The daughter said she only lived with her mom a total of 6 months in her entire life. So Branwyn was really out of the picture. And, she was incarcerated and doing, probably getting high and stuff. Like she said, she hasn't, she struggled with addiction and everything. So that was a lot of time lost. And now she's struggling to try and balance her time between spending time with Chaz and hanging out with her daughter. So they go out and they have lunch, and her friend calls her, and he's on speaker. And Chaz, insecure as usual, like, who's that? Should I be worried? I mean, like that. And she's like, don't be questioning me. Like, I wouldn't be hiding something from you and have him on speakerphone. Like, don't be ridiculous. But, I don't see this relationship lasting in the long run. She's clearly not into him. She just wants that stability, right? And it's understandable. But, sometimes you can only close your eyes and think of England for so long. You know what I mean? All right. So let's move on next. Who do we have? Oh, Radine and Rick. Okay, so they go to the leather jacket store because she wants a leather jacket, right? And don't mind me, guys. I'm only looking down because I'm trying to check and see. I'm still new to the live streaming and I want to see if the chat is working at all. So I'm just trying out something here. 1 second. Okay, so all right. So, okay, they go to get the leather jacket and, she's browsing around and he's like, looking at the prices, $500, $600. And he's like, yeah, I'm here to get her jacket. I want to get her something nice. But, she likes the expensive stuff, man. She's a Gucci girl. And I was like, oh, Gucci is it now? That's quite interesting. Okay, Rick, I don't know where you getting Gucci from, but okay. So then she finds out, like, she's trying to figure out what his budget is and everything. And she winds up finding a coat that she likes that he can afford. And I'm thinking to myself, he's looking nervous because when she's in the 500 range, he's like, yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah, you might want to go a little bit lower on that one. And I'm thinking to myself, listen, if he's willing to put $200 towards her, and he mentioned that he had spent a total of $12,000 on her altogether. Now, $12,000 could have bought her some new dental appliances or some kind of dental care. Now, I'm not just here being shady, okay? Now we know what that smile situation is, but let me just go into put on my little slip into my little lab coat here and have a little medical chat for a second. Gum disease. When your teeth are just so rotten to that extent, the gum disease actually can lead to heart disease, and that can affect the valves because there's an infection. And oh, we got a chat here. Wow. All right. Shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's my people over there, everybody. Actually, that's my husband in the chat. But anyway, so my idea is, well, if you're willing to invest that sort of money, then perhaps maybe we can put some of that money towards some actual health care. Because, like I said, it can affect the valves because of the infection in the gums, and that can lead to serious heart problems down the line. And it's not like, some rare 1 in a billion kind of disease. I mean, that can happen. It does happen. And I think that not just trying to just like, snicker and stuff like that. If she's really like, even if, okay, this is her little scam, right? She's not really into Rick like that. But even if she is, like, wouldn't you be like, okay, all right, well, I have this, this really bad scar on my leg, okay? And, the scar affects me when I do X, Y, and Z, and I really want to get this taken care of, but I don't have money. That's the time you work your scam and you're like, you know what? I really need to get this scar taken care of. I'm just making up something here, right? So why not do the same thing with your dental situation? Like, get that fixed. It puts you at risk for cardiac disease. I mean, it's a real thing. It really just was so strange to me. But anyway, so moving on from the dental situation. So later on, she's at his house and they're outside, and she's saying, he's talking about, like, Kay keeps bringing it up, right? Because obviously he's not happy with the situation, that he's basically playing second fiddle to this person in jail. And then he called Now, see, Rick, he must have been holding this one back because Rick got a little shady himself. He said, I don't want to have to compete with your prison buddy or prison pet. And she was like, prison pet. I was like, oh my God, that was so funny. And she got really upset about that. But remember, she has not revealed that that prison pet in question is actually her wife. That is her spouse. And I'm assuming she means in the legal sense. And anyway, yeah, she's like, I'm about to go off on you, da 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 da. Next thing you know, she starts talking to the roommate. The roommate comes outside, and then the roommate is like, you know what, you're not showing him affection. We've done a lot to try and, provide a place for you. Because this argument kind of started with the whole, there's Kay, but also, I want you to, can we revisit you moving in with me? That's what Rick was talking about in the garage with her when she was looking at his motorcycle, right? And she's feeling like, bothered. Like, why do you keep, you know, asking me the same questions? Like when a cheater is getting caught, they don't want all that pressure on them all the time, right? So, the roommate is like, you've been playing him, and da 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 da. And then she gets into it with the roommate. So I don't know. We'll see next week what happens with these two. But it looks like she's gonna finally reveal her secret. Now I hope we get that next week. I do not want to have to wait another 17 episodes for that. Okay, so let's see, who else do we have? All right, we got those. All right. Oh, all right. Now Indy and Harry. All right, this was so funny. So Indy's mom is there. She drove down from Maryland. And you know what? It's good. Listen, I've been wondering, like, where are her people? Because we know that they were involved, but we weren't seeing them that much. And I mean, I guess it's difficult because they live in different states. But her mom did like a surprise visit last week, and acting like she's on a bounty or something, right? And when her mom gets there, she's like, call him up. And she calls up Harry and has Harry, she's like, okay, I want to meet up with you. The mom, her name is what's her name, Yolanda, I think her name is. So Yolanda gets in the car, puts on her hood, and pretends that she is Indy. So when Harry gets there, he's like, "What's up?" And she takes off the hood, and all you see is those blue eyes. And he looks all scary and stuff like that. He's like, "Oh snap!" Like he wasn't expecting that. That was funny. So then, she's basically telling him, like, why didn't you just say, hey, I can't do this. I'm not able to do this. Like the mom is smart. The mom knows he's just not capable. And it's not that Harry is inherently evil. He's just not capable. He's just not in a place mentally. Harry might be able to get there in 20 years, but I mean, he's nowhere near that place now. He needs to be focused on staying out of jail, getting some employment, and taking care of his little girl. That's it. Not taking care of, Indy and Nicoa. And the mom was like, you're wasting everybody's time. Why didn't you just, say it up front that this is too much for you to handle? So, he was going back and forth with her, but, at least he didn't get too loud and too crazy because, coming straight out of prison, that could have went a different way. But, so basically, she, she winds up, so she drags him basically as she's driving. Then she just drops his ass off in the middle of the road somewhere in Ohio. He's just walking, and, and you remember she was like, how come you always talking about Terry? It's so funny, like, in that whole like Maryland and I guess DC as well, like they had the way that they pronounce certain words with R's is like instead of saying scary, they'll say scurry. It's really funny. I don't know. I can't really do it, but anyway, yeah. So she's like, you always talk about Terry. anyway, so yeah, so that was it. We left off that scene with Harry walking down the road on his way to Cleveland somewhere, who knows. So then the last couple is Michaela and Martell. So she had sped off because he went to go get his hair cut. She wanted to eat. So she goes back, of course, she picks him up, and she is literally yelling at him the entire time as he's driving. Now, listen, I totally believe that it's not that the things that she's saying isn't right, but the thing is that she so should not be in this relationship to begin with. He looks at her like she's a piece of garbage. He looks at her like he can't stand her. He talks to her like he can't stand her. This is not someone who exudes love. I mean, I can say Taylor with his salty self, or no, what's his name? A Chance. Chance even seems like he has like he shows something. Even Harriet, maybe for like 5 minutes, showed something like some kind of something. Like this man, he's so hardened and so he just maybe twice he says like, yeah, she's a real good girl, but like there's nothing like um he'll say she held me down, but not she held me down, and I'm now in turn going to make sure that I give her everything. I am in turn going to make sure that blah 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 blah. None of that from him. Absolutely nothing. And I just hate that this girl's wasted her good fertility years on this guy. But some people, what I've come to I don't know. It's my assessment anyway of Kayla. She's just one of those people who likes to be wrapped up in something. She doesn't want the drama, but she will just go at it, at it, at it, at it, just to hold on. So instead of having a full, whole, all part of this man, his love, his attention, his devotion, his respect, his kindness, his generosity, she'll take the piece, right? And that's a problem that a lot of women get into. They'll take anything. Down south, they call it taking a piece of a man. I'll get a piece of a man. That's okay. Even just a little piece of a man. You shouldn't be settling for a piece of anything, right? Especially nowadays, you got the internet. You can meet people who will find you. They'll love you. They'll love your braids. They'll love your skin. They'll love everything. There are people out there. They really are. But I just don't understand this whole plucking people from prison situation. So anyway, they get to the apartment. She apologizes, and then he half-ass apologizes, and then they go off into the bedroom. So it's just sad. I can't. She's so deep into this and so invested that she has blinders on. So she's that friend that you'll never be able to talk out of getting away from a very toxic, dysfunctional relationship. She's just that friend. You know what I mean? And sometimes we have them. That to me, I don't know if I could really hang on with a friendship like that. I mean, it's hard because you want to be there in case like something happens, but it's hard to see a person go through something and they're not doing anything about it, and then you're like watching them call you at the middle of the night, oh, he hit me or something like that. That's a difficult thing as a friend. I don't think I could do it. I don't. And from what we've seen, I mean, where are her friends? Have we seen any friends? I don't remember any friends of hers on any of the past episodes. I've only seen I just remember like his mom and his niece and his cousin, but no one from her family. And I know she lives in another state, but even like via video or something like that, I feel like she's isolated in this situation, and it's just terrible. But she was just going on and on and on in that car. And I was so scared for her because the way she's going on, like if you've ever had an argument in a car and you're driving, like for me, like my nerves get rattled and I can't continue to drive. Like I have to pull over. And I'm glad he did, because she was really, really, really going at him like this, like this, like this. You don't do that. You sit in silence, you get to your destination, then you go the F off on him, you pack up all of his stuff and you kick him out. That's all you do. Like, I mean, but we know that's not going to happen. Somebody that's 13 years, honey, she is a ride or die. Okay. So all it takes is the wrong place, wrong time being with him. You can wind up in prison too. You never know. You with somebody who is, I'm not saying he's still committing crime or anything like that, but in these type of situations, you might be thinking he's in Walmart and, you're just waiting, for him to go in, run in and get, whatever. And he's doing a stick up or something. And now you're the getaway car. Like, you have to be careful. You have to be so careful, but it's such a sad situation. But anyway, listen. We'll see next week's dysfunction. We will tune in. I will be here for it, won't you? All right, listen, guys. All right. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Also doing some other videos. Take a look at my catalog. I have videos covering different things, different shows, and also like non-entertainment as well. And then that's it. Everybody stay safe. Take care. And Chipi Salacho.